Welcome back to the Jacuzzi Performance Podcast. I'm Ed Baxter, and today we're joined by Hull FC Rugby Club captain and also England player Luke Gale. How are you doing, Luke?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us. So obviously we're sitting here today, 300 caps under your belt in rugby league, but we just want to go back a little bit. How did you get into rugby, and I guess why did you get into rugby in the first place?
I would say family. It's all my family played it. My dad played it. My uncle played it. Not to any professional standard, but my dad claimed that he could, as every dad does, he could have made it. But I would say it were a family thing, and probably from being as old as walking, really. I've got pictures with a rugby ball in my hand. Yeah. Instead, most kids kicking a football, I was kicking a rugby ball. Yeah, I think my first competitive match was 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I've got a picture. I've got a picture and as you can tell, I'm not the biggest, but I was probably that big and the shirt drowned me. I think I'm playing a year above myself as well. So yeah, that's my earliest memory of rugby league.
So were you playing with family in the same team, or was it they were just kind of leaving the club as you were going into it, or?
No. My dad played for the club. I'm from a place called Middleton in Leeds, and that's the amateur team I played with. I think my dad played there. My dad played at school level, and then kind of that was a local club, and that's what I played for, sort of thing. So,
yeah. Awesome. So if we then fast forward, like I said, you got 300 games under your belt now. You said 2021 was a bit of a disaster in your own words.
Yeah.
So can you kind of talk us through that? What happened in that year?
Look, as seasons go, I think I'm in my 14, 15 pre-season now. So I think this is coming up to my 15th competitive season. You have good seasons, and you have, I suppose, when you're a rookie, you're just getting started, you're learning the trade. But coming off, I think last year, coming off 2020, I won a challenge. We won the Challenge Cup with Leeds Rhinos. I shouldn't be mentioning that on a Hull FC on a Hull FC podcast. But yeah, we won the Challenge Cup. I'd come back from injury, and I felt like I had a real successful season. Looking forward to. I think we got beat in the quarterfinals that year of the big event. Got beat in the quarters. Kind of just failed at the back end. So 2021 was a massive season, and I think the first day of pre-season we do a 1 rep max. First day coming back, and 1 rep max and tore my pec clean
really?
off. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how the season started, and it kind of didn't get any better. Come back pretty early. Struggled for form. The club itself had many injuries and a couple of little niggling issues through the year, and then I think kind of 7 games left of the season, I did my PCL, grade 3 tear. So not PCL, MCL. Sorry, yeah. MCL. Which kind of summed up the year, to be honest. Real tough year. But I suppose in sport we have them. I've had a couple of bad injuries, and I think it's how you come back from them that's important. And as I say, new challenge now at Hull FC, and put them behind me, and the body feels great, and looking forward to the new challenge ahead. So
we'll get on to talking about Hull in a minute, but through that phase of when it was really challenging, and you, as you mentioned, you had a couple of injuries, was there ever a point where you thought, I've had a really successful career, it's probably not for me anymore, or did that never cross your mind? Never.
Injuries are part and parcel of our game, and it's a tough sport. I've been lucky. I've played a lot of games, but it's never kind of on your mind until I think when your body's kind of had enough. But I think the injury, the hard thing, I think they could have been avoided. Why do I need to be doing 130 kilos on a 1 rep max? So, and I suppose that the hard thing for me, and this is what I've had to look, I want to go in that gym and be the best, be the strongest, and maybe go on the pitch and win the fitness test.
Yeah.
But look, sometimes you just have to let your ego get the better of you, and you don't have to win them. I'm most important on the pitch.
So you're talking there about that's kind of, all those experiences over your years have taught you where you need to pull back, where you need to actually push yourself forward. When did that realisation come in? Was that lately, or was that a bit longer?
Maybe a couple of years ago, and probably chatting with, I'm friends with Danny Maguire, who at Leeds legend and kind of won everything. And it's like, I can remember chatting one day, and there becomes a time where you don't have to kind of win them fitness tests, or you don't have to be the strongest in the gym. You have to be on the pitch, and it's hard for my mindset because anything I do, I want to win. I don't let my kids win. If we go swimming or if we do anything, I'm one of them. I just want to win at everything, and that's been a real tough thing for me to process, you know. And even still out there to look, I know I think I come third or second in the fitness test this year, and I'm half thinking I still wanted to win that one, but yeah, we do like a 12-minute run, and a couple of younger boys got me, so I let them have that one. But yeah, it's something that I've had to learn as I've got older and kind of adapted, you know.
Yeah, and you're talking there about how kind of everything you do, you're trying to win at, you know, from the smallest things to not even letting your kids win things. So like the world-class standards, because clearly the career you've held such a high standard through the training and the performances you've done. Does that convert into everything you do in life? So do you have really high standards for everything? Because like some athletes are complete high standards for everything, or their sport is the best, and then everything else is absolutely down there.
No, look, you should probably ask my wife, because my wife she would have given you a great answer. But yeah, look, anything that I have a motto, anything that I do in life, you'd want to do the best at, and that's even something as simple as doing something at home, you know. And if you're going to do it properly, and that'd be my motto in any walk of life. Just do it properly, you know. And that, I suppose, you take that into your life away from rugby league as well. So yeah, I think the partner would be best answering that one.
Not great at doing the dishes.
No, to be fair, that's she would say not great at doing the dishes and doing my own washing. So yeah.
So you mentioned there, you know, now moved to Hull, first season with them, already been given the title of captain. How's that coming into a completely new environment, new team, a lot of pressure with being made captain? How's that been for you?
Look, first of all, it's a great honour. You know, Hull's a massive club. The lads have been great. The coaching staff have been very good and very accommodating. So, yeah, it's a massive club, and the fans' expectation is massive, and rightly so. It's a rugby league city with a great rivalry over the river with Hull KR, and they expect a lot, and there's a lot of expectation on us, and we're going to carry that into the season. But no, it's a great honour and something I'm really looking forward to. It's always good leading the boys out and leading by example.
And so what is that example you want to set? So if you've got a few key things that you stand for as a player, what is it that you're showing to this team?
Look, I spoke with the boy. By no exception do I think I'm perfect, or have I got the perfect attributes. I'm never perfect on a pitch, but I compete. I like to compete hard in everything I do, and I suppose not the biggest, not the strongest, but I give me all every time, and I'll come off the field obviously and give 100%, and that's what I think. That's what you need as a leader. And look, I think what's really important. I spoke to the boys about this. In any great sporting organisation, I believe there's not just one leader. I think you've got to. There's a group of leaders, and I think your main leader is only as strong as the other leaders themselves. So I think that's really important in an organisation, that you've got to have a real core of leaders and all be as strong as each other. So I'll be leaning on them when I ain't got all the answers, and I'll be leaning on them as well. So
that's really cool. We spoke to Gareth Ellis last year on this podcast, and he kind of said very similar things around, you know, making sure everyone's, you know, always just giving the best, and, you know, making sure everyone's accountable for working hard. Do you feel like that's something that runs through the blood of Hull, or? Yeah,
definitely. Look, I think in every team, there's it could always be more. You know, I think on working hard, is there a number on it? It's kind of hard to.
I think you said it before, though, isn't it? It's working hard in the right places.
Yeah, definitely. Look, and if it's a young lad who's just starting out on his journey, his working hard might be a little bit different to a guy who's who's played 250 games and might need something different. So, as I say, I think it's pushing that all the time. I think it's the mindset, and if you're constantly coming in and you're delivering that, the other people see that as well. And I do believe it's a mindset thing. And Gaz is great. I've played against Gaz for many a year, and now he's a coach here, and he drives that, and that's what he did through his career as well. He was a tough player, and in fact, I remember my first pre-season, as we spoke about at Leeds. Yeah. My first pre-season was against Gaz when he played at Leeds. So yeah, I remember. I actually reminded him of this when I first come. One of my first sessions at Leeds, probably 18 years old, and I'm going across the line with the ball, and Gaz absolutely nails me at 18 years old, and that was the first time I thought I ain't got that time that I used to have in the academy. Yeah. So that sharpened me up pretty quick. Yeah,
that's really cool. So you mentioned him before around your kind of experience you've learned around training, where you need to, push, where you need to pull a little bit more, where you need to step back a little bit. But think of like a game day scenario. Has your preparation or your mindset changed with the experience you've got, or are you still that young lad who's attacking it and out for it?
Look, maybe little things change. I remember when I was younger, and I still see the boys doing it now, like you have to eat the same sort of pasta, the same spaghetti bolognese, you have to have the same underpants, and I find that absolutely crazy. Like you're just setting yourself up to, do you know what I mean? Like
if that one thing's not there,
if that one thing's not right, then you're thinking, well, you've given yourself an excuse for me. So it's none of that lucky underpants or anything like that. And you learn to, look, you've probably learned to relax. The more you do it, the more you become accustomed to it. So no, I don't have no mad game day routines. I go for a coffee on a morning with my family. I do have my own time. If it's a night game, I do always like a sleep.
Pre-game nap.
Yeah, pre-game nap always. So my partner knows that the kids kind of have to be looked after, and I'm quite selfish in that regard. You know.
But as an athlete, you need to be selfish.
100% you do. Yeah. So I know if I'm playing, say for instance, we're playing St Helens and that's in Lancashire. Obviously, we set off at maybe 3ish, so I know by 1 o'clock I need to sleep. 1-2 o'clock, it's a little nap. Yeah,
that makes sense. Does it? Do you find balancing that selfishness hard? Do you ever feel like it translates too much? I know we mentioned before about your partner might have a different answer, but
again, I'm just thinking there. She would say 100%. So, but again, I think it's easier as you get older. I've got two little girls, 1 7, 1 3, and it's tough. It's the non-stop. But as I've learned as I've got a bit older, look, that you do need a bit of chill time, and even the day before the game. Say if we play on a Sunday, I mean, our opening round is Wakefield a week Sunday, and Saturday after training, I'll just kind of chill on the sofa. I'll finish my training, and everyone knows in my house that I'll have a game, and that'll just be chilled, and I'll prepare tea, and it's kind of habits. I do have them habits. So there'd be no going out for dinner before a game. It'd just be just nice and relaxed, and we'd cook a family pasta of some kind.
Specific pasta.
It wouldn't be specific. But it's just that's the habits, and I suppose, like you say, you kind of have to be selfish in them regards. Kirby would know not to ask me to go shopping day before a game. It's just a no-go. So.
No, that makes sense. So if you get to that game day, it's going to take its toll on you both physically and mentally. What's the recovery from that?
This is something that I was actually speaking to one of the boys, Josh Griffin, today. The older that you get, the harder it is to recover. And I've found this the last couple of years more so than not. We played Leeds on Sunday, and I only played half a game, to be fair, but I've absolutely been shattered these last couple of days. And I think for me, especially the last couple of years, is sleep. Sleep's a massive one. And I do sleep well anyway, but I think getting the proper sleep. Look, I struggle after games anyway. It'd be probably 1-2 o'clock you get to bed.
Really? Is that from the supplements? Is that?
Yeah, I tend not to go heavy on the supplements. So even if I hang off the supplements, you might have an energy drink, but you can have caffeine tablets, you can have all sorts, but I tend not to do that. But even so, after that, just the adrenaline in the up, you find yourself watching NFL at 1 o'clock, or literally, it were actually 2 great games on Sunday night after, so I ended up watching the playoffs. But yeah, I think sleep is massive, and especially as you get older and it takes a little bit more time. Remember, look, when you were younger, you could play a game, you could go out, have a few beers with your mates, get up Saturday morning, Monday morning, whatever, and you'd be training and you wouldn't even, but it definitely does get a little bit harder as you get older. And we actually had the conversation today, and then a couple of boys still feeling it a couple of days after.
So so that's a physical side of it, I guess. The more and more you've kind of gone through your career, mentally, is that an easier to kind of just like leave the game there and move on to the next one? Or how's the kind of mental recovery from that?
No, I'd say worse.
Really?
Yeah,
I'd say thinking.
Yeah, 100%. Look, and I suppose my position being a halfback, if you get beat by a point or you get beat by a try, I'd probably go over the game and think, I could have had an influence on one try. Where could I have won us a game, you know? And it don't get easy. And I can remember getting beat by 1 point last year by Warrington, and we should have never got beat.
Really?
And Kirby comes up to me after the game, and I think I don't know what I did, but I just completely ignored her, and it hurts, you know, it hurts, and I took that home with me probably 3 days, and you're thinking, you just don't, especially ones like that, when you get beat by a point and you should never have got beat. So no, I did definitely take that one home with me, but that's the way I've always been, and it's got worse as well as I've got older.
So that's kind of like the aftermath of it, in terms of like if it doesn't go so well, you feel the disappointment, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you feel that pressure before you even start the game? How do you deal with the pressure?
No, look, I quite enjoy the pressure, and I'm a kicker. You're an halfback, and you have to kind of run the game. So at the end of the day, you're hero or zero. If you do a drop kick or you miss a goal kick. But yeah, I'm quite open to that pressure, and I enjoy that. And I think I play my best games when that pressure's on and kind of the lights are on you. And I feel it as I feel that as a privilege, you know.
Pressure's a privilege.
Yeah, 100% it is. Like, who wants to be in a team where there's no pressure, or in a position where
it's easy?
It's easy. You're asked to come off bench and there's no pressure. I suppose because I'm halfback, and you kind of, we spoke about NFL, like a quarterback, and you're asked to be hero or zero. Yeah. Like Sunday night, Joe Burrow's a hero, and I feel that as a privilege, and I look forward to that.
So, do you think when you finish your career, whenever that may be, do you think you'll find it hard to still get that bit of?
Yeah, it's a tough one, and look, I've got friends who have just finished, and I look at Kev, and Kev's doing ultra marathons, and Kev Sinfield's raising absolutely millions for charity, and his good friend Rob Burrow and MND, and he's been absolutely amazing, and he's an inspiration. And I know Kev on a personal note, and that's in Kev's nature, is constantly wanting to set new records for himself and set new goals. And look, I've not actually thought about the big R, to be honest. But I suppose I have this chat quite often, and with lads, what you do when you retire. Would you go? Would you go full no training, or would you go even more? Yeah, you're not playing.
I think you go one way or the other, don't you?
Yeah.
And there's so often, like, so now I coach rather than being an athlete. There's some athletes you'll see, they'll be training, you'll go, I don't know how you'll deal with this when you're out of it, because it can become like a constant chase. I don't know if anyone you've worked with in rugby has retired and then just chased that feeling of like pressure or that excitement, but there's no excitement like walking out and having your country on your chest or having your club on your chest. So it's hard, isn't it?
It is, and that buzz and that thrill, that's something that I suppose you'll never get again. But I suppose I have a different mindset of, I think when you're content with what you've done in the game, and I think if you leave the game and you're happy with what you've done and you give it your all, and look, you might bow out 350 games, you might bow out 100 games, or your body doesn't allow you to bow out. But I think if you're content with what you've done in the game, that's when you retire and you're happy. And look, you retire healthy and you enjoy family time and stuff like that. But there will be, when that time comes, I definitely will train. I love training anyway. Whether it be, I love all sports. I love golf. I love even if it's a game of five-a-side. But there will be definitely training involved. Yeah,
that's cool. You mentioned there before around, when people get to the age of retirement, they kind of are satisfied with what they've done, or they feel like they've accomplished enough. Where are you on that? Are you happy? You've had an amazing career. Are you satisfied with what you've done, or are you still a long way from that?
Never satisfied, and I don't think
ever will be.
No, I don't think.
Yeah. There's athletes.
Yeah, I think that's the athlete mentality in it, and I suppose I've been fortunate. I've won a Challenge Cup. I've played in the big games. I've got beat in a World Cup final, and I've got beat in our biggest game, which is a grand final.
Yeah.
I got beat in 17 in that. Until I win the grand final. Yeah, one of the.
Really?
But look, there's a World Cup at the end of the year. But yeah, the grand final is one where you think, if I do retire and you've not got that ring, would I feel that I've accomplished everything? I don't think I would. I don't think I would. But then again, if I won it, would you be satisfied? You'd want the next one, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the pinnacle of in our sport, and that's the one that everyone wants,
Yeah, and you can see it in your face when you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I remember we were heavy favourites when we got beat by Leeds Rhinos in 17, and that one still hurts to this day. Oh, still, yeah. I think they sometimes play the
clips back.
The clips back, on
PTSD.
Yeah, honestly, it still gets me to this day. But look, we didn't turn up on the night, and we got beat by the better team on the night. But yeah, it's a tough one to take.
Yeah. So, who would you say is kind of the biggest influence you've had through your journey of rugby? You mentioned you started playing because your dad at the very start.
Yeah. My dad definitely from an early age been. Watching me play, and my dad, I can always remember I have visions of my dad, and he won't be a great watcher of the game, and he'd stand by himself, not with my family, and if I did a bad pass, I'd look at my dad.
Really?
And he'd stand by himself, and to be fair, he still comes to every game now.
Amazing.
My mum took me, I owe a lot to my mum. He took me all around the country playing the game. So I owe a lot to my mum. She got me in this position. My mum passed away probably when I was 25 years old, which was a real kind of turning point in my career as well. Obviously, real tough to handle at the start, but I think playing a team sport, the team helped me with that, which was massive. And that was, if I look back at 25 years old, that was kind of a massive turning point. My career kind of could have gone either way.
Yeah.
It was just at the point I signed for Castleford. And then after the Castleford deal, that's when my career really took off, and that's when I started getting to England, 2016, 2017, I ended up winning Man of Steel and playing my best footy over them next few years. So without actually knowing it, it was a massive turning point, and maybe a massive driver that I didn't really know at the time, but it kind of inspired me to go even harder. So my mum's definitely up there, and a friend who's my rugby agent, Craig Harrison, his actually agency is called Show Me the Money, which he gets a fair bit of stick for, but he's a massive agent in rugby league. But I met him probably 18 years old, and become almost like best friends. He's godfather to my youngest child, so he's been with me at the highest of highs and kind of lowest of lows in my career. So he's rid every ride with me, and been on every journey, and he's a one person who I go to kind of get the honest feedback sometimes you might not want to hear, but he's always been there, and he's been a massive. I think I left one of the deals up to him. I think there were a couple of clubs, and I couldn't really decide. And when I coming back from London, I moved to London at 18, signed for London Broncos, and I think I did 3 years down in the capital. Loved my time, learnt a lot, but then it was time to come back up north and find a new team. And I think there were two or three teams, and I can remember saying to Craig, "Look, I want you to decide. I have that much trust in you."
That's amazing.
He chose Bradford Bulls actually, and they went bust a year later. So
was not showing them the money.
It wasn't one of his best calls, but no, he's been a massive influence as well, and still to this day, he got me the deal here, and kind of knows what I need and what I'm going through, and he probably knows me as good as I know myself. So yeah, he's a massive influence as well.
So kind of one final question: if you look back to that 18-year-old who's moved to London, or that 6-year-old who's playing in their first kind of game of rugby, what would you say to them if you're looking back?
Wow, that's a great question. What would I say to her? Listened more. Don't be cheeky. No, I suppose. I don't know. I think everything that happens in your career kind of shapes you. I mentioned my mum there, which shaped me. I actually got, I think when I was 16, 17, they used to send us to college, and look, I didn't enjoy college one bit, and I actually got kicked out of. I think there were 10 of us that kind of went on a full time, and it went on to be one of my future coaches, Darryl Powell. I think I was being misbehaving at college, and I had my scholarship taken away from me, and I can remember like my world fell in on me at that time.
Like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, because I was probably 16, 17, and I had to go home and tell my mum and dad that I'd been kicked out at Leeds Rhinos.
Yeah.
And we sent a letter, and I think we made a letter and said to the boss, "Look, you'll try harder at college." But I remember I got allowed back in, and that were a massive.
I feel like that was the second chance you needed.
Kick
almost.
Up the arse that you needed. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but it was a massive kick up the arse, saying, "Look, don't take this for granted." And I suppose you do take it for granted, especially when you're younger, and you get to a certain age, and it all just kind of.
Especially at 16, 17, if
you just
kind of getting everything you kind of want, and it's
talent.
easy.
You just think talent's enough, and you get to an age where you finally realise how privileged a position you're in, and it's not going to last forever. Yeah. I wish it could last forever, or I wish the body allowed it to last forever, but you're not going to get there. And I remember after I won the Man of Steel, I handed out the young Man of Steel to Jacob Truman the next year, and I remember sat on his table, and True is probably, I think, 23 at the time, 22, absolutely great talent, just won the Young Player of the Year, and I'm sat on his table, and I'm probably telling him that don't take it for granted, and look, I was once in your position, you're probably miles more talented than me, but I was once in your position, and I spoke to him for an hour on the table, and I reckon he didn't take one bit of it in. He was my teammate at the time, but I can remember sitting there and just thinking, you don't take that for granted, and one day you're going to wake up and think, God, I wish I'd have done this, or I wish I'd done that, and that comes as obviously you get older. But no, it's a great sport, and as I say, I feel real privileged to still be doing it. Still be playing at a great club, and hopefully we've still got many more stories to tell, Yeah,
happy days. Well, thank you very much for joining us. It's been great. Been great to hear a little bit about your story. So, been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you want to check out any of our other episodes, head over to the Jacuzzi YouTube channel. And if you're interested in any Jacuzzi products, from swim spas to hot tubs, you can check them out at jacuzzi.com.